Why, hello there, Minnesota Vikings fans. Jacob. And boy, oh boy, do we have an interesting game this Sunday. Um, for a lot of various reasons. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and dive right into it. So, yeah. Well, for those of you who may or may not know, probably the biggest thing and the elephant that'll get out of the room right away is J.J. McCarthy will be out for this game, as well as Joe Burrow. So what does that mean, ladies and gentlemen? That's right, it is the matchup we've all been waiting for. Jake Browning versus Carson Wentz. Thank God this is a noon game. Oh, man. But, hey, I mean, at the end of the day, that's just kind of how the cookie crumbles in the NFL, you know. You always, prime matchups that you think will be interesting or, that aren't landlocked or locked to a certain network because some networks are like, hey, no, this is our game type of thing. But anyway, regardless, I'm just glad this is a noon Sunday game. So we can either get this lobotomy out of the way or this thing will actually turn out to be a game of the year contender. So, yeah, I guess without further ado, let's go ahead and kind of break this thing down a little bit, shall we? So yeah, as I mentioned, Carson Wentz. I mean, do I really have to go much further than that? Carson Wentz will be the starter on Sunday. So either this is going to be an epic disaster or we're going to go like 3-0 or 4-0 or however many and 0 while J.J. McCarthy is injured. And I can already hear the conspiracy theories about this running rampant throughout Minnesota and various other media outlets. Are they soft benching J.J. McCarthy? Is there stuff going on behind the scenes that we don't know about? Blah, 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 like typical after just an absolute brutal loss, there's always these conspiracy theories that pop up, which you may or may not believe, but I guess we'll just kind of wait and see. Now, with that being said, though, I still feel like Carson Wentz will give us actually a pretty good shot to win, just because, again, he's a veteran. He actually has some serious weapons. I mean, J.J. McCarthy's still out there. T.J. Hawkinson's still out there, even though it'd be kind of nice for him to actually do something. Please. Please. But anyway. Yeah, so Carson Wentz being the guy, I mean, this isn't his first rodeo. He's definitely been around various different schemes throughout the league and stuff like that. And a lot of people keep forgetting here, in 2017, he was the catalyst quarterback that brought the Eagles to the record they ended up becoming before he tore his ACL in LA. And then Nick Foles went on literally one of the biggest Cinderella runs of all time. But then Carson Wentz kind of bounced around. He's been labeled this, that, the other thing. Who knows? I mean, just go out there and do the darn thing. Because again, you've got some serious weapons around you. And also defense. Contain Jamar Chase and T. Higgins as much as you physically can. Because, well, let's be honest here, our secondary isn't necessarily in the greatest shape. I mean, I haven't seen the final injury reports and stuff like that, but I know Okuda's been battling a concussion, so I don't know if he's going to be back in time. I mean, I know that Isaiah Rodgers has actually looked pretty darn good for us, and even our old pal Dwight McLaughlin looked pretty good, but I don't know, it just... Again, I still have a sour taste from that Sunday night game that hopefully we can wash out and, pump this game with a victory instead of just disgusting defeat. Because, again, that was just an ugly game. Whew. But yeah, and hopefully our pass rush is back too, like Andrew Van Ginkel. Sounds like he's probably going to be back, which is huge. And also huge, if we can actually turn this back around in the offense, if Darisaw is actually back on the field, even though there is a little bit of controversy behind that, apparently, or if you want to believe certain media outlets saying that, was Darisaw actually hurt? Could have he played in week 1? Or, I don't know. Like, this is really one of those first, growing pain seasons for KOC to see if he actually can develop young quarterbacks. But, again, this setback with J.J. McCarthy is probably still the headline of the week. And probably will be the headline, especially if Carson Wentz goes out there and, again, goes undefeated. But then, going back to the defense here, yeah, just keep doing your thing, boys, and eventually the offense will hopefully catch up here, because if not, this could become a very long season, and I wouldn't be surprised if some of the defensive players are like, we're done. There's only so much you can do before your body just gives out for basically trying to hold on for dear life. Yeah, I've seen plenty of Vikings teams like that in the past, and, well, again, doesn't usually end well, so. Yeah, and honestly, too, just the whole Jake Browning thing versus Carson Wentz. And remember, Jake Browning was the quarterback the last time he played the Bengals, and he had a career day against us. And he actually went on like, they shouldn't have effing cut me. And I'm like, okay, calm it down there, buddy. But anyway. Yeah, I mean, regardless of what happens in this game, the big thing is, it's going to have to fall on your weapons, i.e. Justin Jefferson, TJ Hawkinson, and also now Jordan Mason, because Aaron Jones is on IR. And then for the Bengals, do they have a run game? Can Trey Hendrickson get things going? Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, blah, 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 blah. And, I mean, really don't have a whole lot else here, because this game is going to be weird just in the fact that, again, it's Jake Browning versus Carson Wentz and not Joe Burrow versus J.J. McCarthy, which, not going to lie, at least over the last couple weeks, is it weird that I'm actually kind of looking forward to seeing Carson Wentz start? I mean, I know I'll probably either be eating my words come Sunday, or this thing is going to get very interesting down the pipe, especially if Carson Wentz is indeed leading us to victories and kind of moving this offense the way it should. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. So, yeah, don't really have a whole lot this week, just because, again, it's kind of a weird game, We really don't know exactly what we look like, but again, could Carson Wentz flip the script from his time in Philadelphia when they won the Super Bowl, ironically enough, at US Bank Stadium, and maybe he be the catalyst this time? Or will J.J. McCarthy come back, rested, ready to go, and, take that next step? But all I do know is KOC, coaches, we got to do something here, because especially once JJ gets back, the calls that they've been doing, the plays that they've been calling, just have not been working. It wouldn't be a bad idea to have some short passes here and there. But anyway, we'll kind of cross that bridge when we get there. On to Cincinnati. Let's do the thing, Carson. Coming back to play for your boyhood team or your boyhood favorite team. Why not? Let's get this ship turned around and let's, get this thing done here, boys. Because after this begins the back-to-back international games leading into the bye. Which is also why I still think, Carson Wentz will probably be starting through the bye week. And then, ironically enough, we have the Eagles coming up after the bye week at home. So, yeah, that could be interesting. But we'll cross those bridges when we get there, so. But yeah, that'll basically wrap this up. So, until we meet again, this is Jacob. Have a good day.